don't really see how you can be an alcoholic and be homeless, because the cops and other people who are aware of you are going to be aware that you're drunk and have you arrested and detained.
Yeah.
Or they'll take your drink away and you have to go buy another one, and you'll get pissed at that. And
Well, I've definitely seen it. I've seen both sides. I've seen the hardworking people, the people that want to get out of their situation, and I've seen the people who just lay down and just give up, and either they're waiting for the next handout or they're done.
No, that we don't do. I mean, we'll accept handouts, but I usually go out and panhandle, and he goes to work when he can. And his boss knew us when we had a place, so, and he's kept track of Joe since we've been homeless, and we've had to move several different places. And his bosses kept track of him, and he's kept track of his boss, so that Joe can go and help Kazi, and Kazi can help Joe. But it's not very much, because he doesn't. Kazi's from a different country, and he doesn't understand that the hot sun should mean more pay.
Yeah.
That he's from somewhere with hot sun. So
How did you guys end up in this situation, you and your husband?
they found us a place. The government, somebody, social workers, they found us a place, but it was only for a few short months, like 6 months, 8 months, and then it was like free or very reduced, and then it went to full rent, and I could pay it, but there would be nothing left for anything else.
Right.
No, nothing left to pay the light bill or food or anything.
Sure.
So when our time was up, we took it as far as we could, which was usually only about a month or two. We got an eviction notice. That's,
How long ago was that?
oh, this was a couple years ago.
And you've been out here ever since?
Oh, yeah.
What struggles have you faced being out here?
Well, me finding work at all. I've had a head injury, so I have to find something pretty simple that I can do that pays well. And I haven't been able to find anything like that. But I know there are jobs like that, because people tell me, people who have jobs like that tell me there are jobs like that.
Right.
And that I don't know, and it helps to speak another language. I can say no habla español, and I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That seems to be the language, other language you need. I can say no sprechen Sie Deutsch? No parlez-vous français?
Do you have any kids?
Yes, I have 2 children. They're both grown. They're in Indiana with children of their own. And my daughter had 2 boys. I wished for a girl for her, so she would know the angst that comes with having a girl.
Sure.
But no, she spits out 2 boys. And my son, he had a daughter.
Are they aware of your situation?
No.
They're not aware? You guys never turned to them for any help, money?
Well, my parents are, I have no idea where my male parent is. My mother died. She would be the only one who could help me. And his parents, I don't know, he doesn't talk about them much. I think might be both dead. Because we're both in our 50s, early 50s.
Yeah.
So to have a parent alive is, they'd be old and feeble, wouldn't they?
Yeah,
to have a 50-year-old kid.
probably up in their 80s,
Yeah.
around there. Yeah. Um, sorry that you're going through that. I mean, you said that your husband is working, but you also you told me before we started this that if you're homeless, you'll never get paid as much, even if you have the same background or
Yeah,
the same abilities as
because
somebody else.
people don't think of you as much as as deserving of equal pay if you're homeless.
Right.
It baffles my brain as to why that you could have a degree in everything and know the job well, that you won't get paid as much, you won't get as many benefits because you're homeless.
Is that lawful?
Yes, that is
That is
awful.
lawful?
That's awful. That's unfair. That's totally.
I meant lawful. Is that legal?
Oh, lawful? I have no idea. I don't think it's lawful. It shouldn't be lawful.
It shouldn't be at all.
If they find other reasons so that it will be lawful.
So they don't say that it's because you're homeless. They
No,
just,
yeah.
That's terrible. I mean, yeah, if you and I have the same background, it shouldn't matter where we live.
Yeah.
We should be getting paid the same.
If we both have a college degree or even a high school diploma, and that's all the job takes, that should be. And we dress, as long as we dress normally, like a homely person,
Sure.
homeful person,
Sure.
then that should be.
It shouldn't matter. No, I agree with you.
No, they consider you homeless not deserving as much pay, as much benefits.
Have you ever been to the shelters here in Miami?
Yes, and don't like it because they always separate Joe and I because we're not legally married. We've been together like 13 years. That they always separate us because we're not legally married.
Right.
And one time we went to the shelter because the weather was so bad. I think it was winter, and it was not snowing but raining very hard, and it was cold and wet, and everything was wet.
Yeah.
So that.
What do you think about shelters here?
What do I think about shelters now?
Yeah.
They're unnecessary.
What do you mean?
Well, they wake you up at the ungodly hour of 5:30, and that's fine for some people who have a job. Most of us don't. They're either too old to have a job or disabled or looking for work. And 5:30 is just an ungodly hour. 7:30 is much better.
Yeah.
And right for breakfast and everything.
They wake you up at 5:30 to. Do they kick you out of the shelter at 5:30?
No,
Or did you just have to be awake?
They feed you breakfast.
Okay.
And then they kick you out.
Okay.
You can come back for lunch and dinner, but you can't stay there all day. You can't stay in your bed unless you're sick.
Mm-hmm.
And I've not been to every shelter, but I've been to 2 or 3, and it's like that.
But it's better than being in the streets, no? To have a shelter?
No.
How so?
Because here in the streets, we're left alone, and we don't have to get up till the sun wakes us up or anything. And we can be next to each other.
Right.
We know each other is there. That's what I like very much, because I'm from Indiana, and I've had a head injury. I like knowing that someone's there for me.
Right. I mean, it's good at least that you have someone there, because I've heard that being a woman and being homeless and being alone is a challenge.
Yes, some of them get repeatedly gang, and um, some are killed, and some are just kidnapped. So I like having someone there next, and he likes having someone next to there too, to help watch over him,
Sure.
because I do.
That's good. Do you know a lot of women that are homeless and are alone?
Yes, and they sleep in the women's shelter, or the Miami Rescue Mission
Yeah.
is for men and women both. That they, I don't know why, but they prefer the shelters.
Yeah. Well, I'm assuming if they're alone and it's not like they separate them from anybody else, they would be better off in a shelter than in the street.
Yeah.
In the street, they'd be always cautious of what's going to happen to them or hiding.
Yes.
That's not.
And there is that, people hiding.
Well, I'm glad that you have somebody.
Yes, I am too. But if I were kidnapped or raped, they wouldn't like it at all, because I would fight them tooth and nail. My brother knew karate and liked to fight me.
Yeah.
Because punches and blows, and I didn't know how to fight him with karate, but I knew how to. When he had me in the hold, I could headbutt him and give him a bloody nose, and he'd go whine road, and I'd be laughing.
Older brother?
Yeah.
That's always good.
22 months older.
That always toughens you up.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. Where is he?
In Indiana.
He's in Indiana.
And he thought he was something because he knew karate. He was taking karate.
Mm-hmm.
But I gave him a bloody nose anyway. Even though I knew nothing about karate. I only know survival.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad that that you do have somebody, and that if, God forbid, something were to happen to you, you know how to defend yourself. That's always good. What has been something that's happened to you while living out here that had stood out to you?
Some of the people are really kind, really really willing to help the homeless, especially those they know who are taking care of themselves, not slovenly and icky and dirty all the time.
Yeah.
See, Joe and I, we have some bags, some possessions that we keep with us where we sleep. Changes of clothes and stuff, and a few personal items, and we always keep them with us and keep the area clean around us, and they just, people like that, knowing we take care of ourselves and stuff. And sometimes they'll give us a few dollars, sometimes they'll buy us a meal, and
That's good.
but not always.
I'm sure. Yeah, but I have met a lot of kind people here who do their best to help those in bad situations. And that is true. They rather help those who are helping themselves.
Yes.
That want to help themselves. That's always better.
Sometimes when I go out to Panhandle, I don't do so good around here, right around here. I'll have to go farther, take the bus and go farther out, like to Walmart or someplace like that. And then it's really good panhandling.
Yeah.
I can get $50, no problem, real quick.
Good.
Come back. Well, I could get more, but I don't want to stay that long. And that's
A lot of the times when people see homeless people asking for money, they think that it's for alcohol or drugs. What are your thoughts about that?
I tell them alcohol makes me sick quick, and it has a lot of calories in it. I don't want to get fat. Drugs are way too expensive. I just want a change of clothes, a hotel room, whatever, a good meal. Sometimes it is.
Yeah.
just depends. Sometimes I need menstrual things.
Yeah. What would you say is the best way for individuals to help those in need?
Money is always a good thing. Food, especially homemade, something homemade is wonderful. Um,
I've also heard a lot that even if you give somebody who's homeless food, or even if you give somebody who's homeless money, at the end of the day they're still homeless.
yes.
So the best way is to give them opportunity. Now I haven't really figured out what that is.
Yes. If you could give them a job, that would be wonderful.
Yeah.
I mean, for some of them are just lazy and don't want anything but handouts.
Sure.
I would take a job if somebody offered it. It would have to be a fairly civil job, or because of my head injury, I have to be reminded. I have to, either it has to be the same thing over and over, which I don't mind, or I have to have like written directions that I can look.
If you don't mind me asking, what happened to you?
I was in the car with a drunk driver. I was pregnant at the time. He turned, hit a curb. The door flew open. This was in Indiana where the roads get icy. And anyway, he hit a curb. The door flew open. I flew out. I lost the baby. And he did not go to jail. He did not get any punishment from it. I was in a coma, they tell me. I don't remember this. I was in a coma in the hospital for, I don't know how long. I was in a coma for 12 weeks, and then rehab was another. Well, I was still going through rehab when he yanked me out, and the guy who I was in an accident with, because he didn't want them to be able to get my memory back.
Right.
And that was because I would have sued the pants off him for killing the child, for causing my head injury, for just being alive and drunk. But that's then, this is now.
How long ago was this?
What year is this?
24.
2024?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, this was 1997, 98.
Around 30 years ago. I'm so sorry to hear that. Stupid decisions, right? People make and
Yeah.
change their lives. Well, actually, his life didn't change. It was yours that changed. I'm sorry.
Big time. I'd already had 2 children by my husband, who we divorced, and he left me with the 2 kids in diapers. He paid child support. He knew to do that because of his first wife. He had kids by her and divorced, and she ran him through the mill with child support and everything.
And that caused you your head injury? That accident?
Yes.
What are your plans with your husband going forward? What are you guys trying to do?
Well, I miss seeing the change of seasons, the fall and spring especially. That he's never been out of Florida for very long, so if I can get him to go to Indiana for a while anyway, just once or twice, that would be wonderful. That I'm willing to stay here because the ocean's here, and I know I could find a job if I had to, if somebody would help me find a job, because it's been so long since I've had to fill out an application or talk to somebody who is interviewing me.
Sure.
That he can get a job fairly easily, even though he didn't finish high school. But he knows how to do a lot. I don't know where he learned it. Oh, mostly in prison. He went for drug possession or drug dealing or something. He doesn't do that anymore.
But did your dad walk? You said your dad walked out when you were a teen, 13.
A male parent, I don't know anything about him. If he's still alive, if he was then.
I see that you've called him male parent twice.
Yes,
You haven't said dad or father.
because father gives respect. Dad gives love and respect. I have nothing for him. His male parent, a sperm donor.
Really? Did you ever meet him?
Yeah, he lived in the house until I was 12, 13. I hit puberty and that was it. I don't know if he walked out or it was forced to leave. He tried something with me and he was forced to leave. The courts made him leave. And then it was only a few months, 10 months, he was allowed back in the house, and I decided to leave.
When you said he tried something with you, I'm assuming you mean sexual assault?
Yeah.
I'm very sorry to hear that.
So am I.
Very sorry to hear that. Yeah, that has to affect you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It has to affect you. It has to affect anybody. I'm very sorry for anybody that goes through any type of sexual assault, especially by a parent.
I try to block it from my mind.
We don't have to talk about it.
It's pretty easy to do with the accident.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about that.
And you have millions of other places to park.
Yeah? Maybe he wants to be part of the interview.
I'm not impressed by your car. Go away. I don't know, you might be, but I'm not.
I'm sorry?
I said, I don't know, you might be, but I'm not.
Impressed?
Impressed by the car.
Not at all. I think that Miami is a very... everybody's always trying to show off what they have.
Well, yes, that's true. I have seen some outlandish cars, outlandish people, the way they dress. It's a very, very outlandish thing. I've seen some instances where homosexuals, they don't mind holding hands and walking together and French kissing or anything involved.
No. Yeah, there's a lot of things here in South Florida. You see a lot of things. And I'm sure that you do too, especially living out here in downtown.
I mean, I'm sure we had them in Indiana, but they were a little more undercover.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Even though the lady's not here to pay, they're paying the machine, and that's good.
Well, Angie, that's pretty much all the questions that I had, and I really do thank you for sharing where you come from and what you're going through right now.
I come from Indianapolis, Indiana, where we have seasons. Four.
But I'm sure the winter over there is tough to deal with when you have a home.
When you have a home, and especially when you don't have a home. Yeah. The first winter I was out, my boyfriend brought me down here to Florida because he said there were lots of job opportunities.
Yeah.
which they weren't. They all went to the foreigners that seemed to, I don't know, they didn't seem to have any more job qualifications. Some of them didn't even speak English, but they got the jobs.
You think they get preferential treatment over those that live here, the citizens?
Yes, sometimes, most of the time, because they don't want as many benefits as many benefits that come with. They don't know about the benefits, so they don't ask for them or anything, like insurance or raises and things like that.
So because they don't know the system and they don't know the benefits, they rather give the jobs to them.
Yeah.
They ask for less. That makes sense.
Well, they just ask for a job, and they get it. And there are those who come with an education and will look for like a college professor job or something like that. I've talked to a few people who have come from a different country and had to have more education here, mostly because they didn't speak English and because the courses were a little different, to be able to teach college. That they managed, and they got a job at a college, and they're doing fine now. So,
Do you want more water?
um,
I got some here.
thank you. Well, I haven't finished this yet, but I will.
Angie, again, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for having the patience to listen to me.
Absolutely.